All right. So, all right, I'm going to come down. I'm going to start crying already. Jordan, are you in here? Okay, you got to come up here.
We had to, you had to.
All right, we're going to come over here. All right, so we are actually streaming live. Are we streaming live, Brody? We're live. Okay, so I don't know that I'm going to be able to do this. All right, Brody, do you have us all? We're good? Okay. All right. Here's Jordan. Okay. All right. So 5 years ago today, we were in a room very much like this. Chuck was there.
I was here.
Jordan, you were not there.
I was there.
But not in our basics class, right? So 5 years ago, on day 2 of our class, the Wayfair decision came down. I really can't do this. Sorry, I get emotional. So
Almost on the dot.
Almost on the dot. I was going to say it was pretty much right at about this time. And we had taught Nexus on Wednesday, like we're doing today. And so Thursday morning it came down, and we had to reteach everything that we had taught the day before. And it has changed how the world, because it's not just US, does sales tax and what we have to think about. So although it is maybe scary and you guys hate the fact that the Wayfair decision came down the way it did,
Sorry.
it has made you guys all invaluable resources to your companies, right? And has made it so that we all have to think about a lot of different things. So we do have to have a little bit of a celebration because it is just something that we have to celebrate. So do we have the candle too? Okay, so we can go ahead and put the candle in. So we have some fun stuff to do. So you guys all got birthday hats. So everybody put their birthday hat on. And then Jamie actually was part of the legal team that represented Wayfair. So we are going to have a little bit of a celebration. And then I'm going to quickly ask all of the faculty what impact Wayfair had on their business. Okay, so maybe these were kid hats and not adult hats. So maybe just prop them up there the best that you can.
I need the words. I
Yes.
don't remember what I
Oh, do we
wrote
have
my
the song sheets for us too?
words. Oh, yeah.
I did bring my mouse down. And so Jamie is known for writing her parody songs. So she actually wrote us Happy Birthday. I will get out of the way. Wayfair for this. So, so let's go ahead and sing Happy Birthday, and you will lead us.
Sure. You guys have to sing with me. Just dive into it. Have fun. Or I have a mic, I think.
But that's that one.
Oh, that's that one. Yeah, bring out your harmonies if you know them. If you don't, sing badly out of tune, and it's great. Think of it like that scene in Harry Potter where you just pick your own tune, and everybody sing along and sing the words. It's to the tune of Happy Birthday. The words are a little facetious. They might get a little asterisk at the moment. Change the words if you need to or if you want to. But all right, let's do it, everybody.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
It's been 5 years, it's true, since SCOTUS gave you the Wild West of sales tax and a shit ton to do. In 45 states, we now celebrate. Happy birthday to the Wayfair case. Happy birthday to you.
Yay! Thank you. All right, we are not going to blow on the cake for very good reasons. So we are going to make the candle go out without starting a fire. All right, so they are going to cut the cake. So we will have that for break. But before we do that, I'm like, which microphone am I supposed to be talking into? Before we do that, I am just going to go down the row and we will ask everybody what impact, what are your memories, What do you think about this? How has it impacted your life? So Jamie, you're the one most impacted. So talk a little bit about that.
I remember being at the arguments, and because my firm handled it and I worked on the team, and just being, I mean, let's be real. Every lawyer's kind of pipe dream is to work on a Supreme Court case. So for one, it was like, I'm working on a Supreme Court case. And then just listening as the justices really asked these very informed questions and really dug into the impact of this case. So I remember sitting there in the argument, and I remember madly hitting refresh on my computer browser on June 21st, because, as lawyers and as parties in the case, we don't get the decision emailed to us. There isn't a docket page that we can sign into online to, have our decision. We get it in the same real time as everybody else in the room. So we're sitting there clicking madly refresh, and it's back in the days when we were actually in the office. I remember being the first one in my office to see it pop up and sticking my head actually out of the doorway and shouting, "It's here, the decision is in." And we sit there and scramble and figure out, did we win? Did we lose? How close did we get? We lost.
Which wasn't clear as you started reading the case.
No, and it was very close. It was a 5-4 decision. It was a really weird mix-up. It's been job security for 5 years. It's been a wild ride. It's impacted everything in how I work, how we do it. Upended. I mean, it really did. It upended everything about tax. Not just sales tax. We're seeing the implications expand beyond that. So it was a game changer, exciting game changer. Sad loss, but
yeah. So as the attorneys that lost, did you feel like it was the right decision?
I will say, a year and a half before the Wayfair decision came down, I worked for the Massachusetts Department of Revenue in their litigation team. So you can say I went to the dark side, depending on which direction of friends you're talking about. I think we were not surprised by the decision. The states had been on an effort to kill Quill. We'll get to what Quill is in about 10 minutes. But they were on this hell-bent effort to kill Quill by whatever means necessary. And so I think we saw the decision coming, but we were incredibly proud as to how close the decision came. And the fact that we really were able to make the case of just how big of an impact on businesses the court's decision would have if they went the way they did, which was in South Dakota's favor. It was, I think, a well-fought battle and a hard-fought one, but I'm not sure that we were surprised at the outcome.
Okay, perfect. All right, Trisha, I'm going to give you this, and then I'm going to grab the other microphones. Okay, so what about you? What did you think?
Having been in the sales tax for over 30 years, I mean, the standard was always physical presence when I started, right? So that's what I came into business learning and grew up on, and it was always that. So when that changed with the Wayfair decision, it really pulled the rug out from under everything and just changed all the rules at which we played by. So it's been great job security. It's added a lot of reviews for a lot of companies who never would have had any type of presence in the state and now have this economic presence. So it really has changed the whole dynamic of our industry, as well as that of retailers, especially online sellers, especially in light of the pandemic. So it just had a huge impact, and it was great to kind of be a part of it and watch and see what was happening when the decision was coming out and all the hype and drama around it, and then spending that time reading through the case afterwards to see what does this mean for me and for my customers.
All right, Molly, I'll take this back.
All right, well, I was working in industry in North Carolina when it passed. So for me, it also was job security because my company did not have physical presence. So we had a whole lot of economic uses pretty much every night. So it was a lot of job security at the time. I probably wasn't the biggest fan, but I think it was the right decision. And if I had never had that work thrown upon me, I would have never realized how much I love sales tax, and it would never have led me here. So happy it happened.
All right. No, you're going to talk into that. I'm going to hold this.
Okay.
Take that.
Oh, okay.
This is the streaming microphone, which I forgot.
This is more complicated than the Wayfair decision itself.
Yes.
I was in the room here, Diane, with you.
Yes, you
TJ,
were.
and at that moment, that singular moment in my career, I was never more in demand. So I was slated to teach a session for you.
Yep.
And the Sovos marketing team was calling me saying the Wall Street Journal wants to talk.
Yes.
That is a tough choice.
Choice.
I had an obligation to teach this class.
Yep.
But the Wall Street Journal is never, ever, ever again going to call me in my
Right.
career.
Yeah.
So I stuck out and talked to
You
the Wall
did.
Street Journal.
You did. You did.
And yeah, it's changed everything about the way I work. You know, Jamie, it was to work on a Supreme Court case, the most exciting thing in the world. With my organization, we helped draft an amicus brief on the other side, and that was an exciting thing for me to work on. And really, it's only once in a lifetime that sales tax is going to be at the front end of the media, at the cutting edge, and that was that time for us. And it did upend everything, but I don't think it's upended enough. I still think there's a long way to go for states to make things more simple for sellers to be compliant in this new world. And 5 years in, there's still a lot of work to do in that area.
Right. Right. All right. So Jordan.
I'm going to go back towards the middle.
Okay.
You want me to take this with me?
Sure. Take that
All right. I'm going to take both these things, and if anybody's seen, I hate microphones, by the way. They don't generally use them.
So you
But-
and I both were around when the Quill decision.
Well, I was going to say, I'm very fortunate. I worked on the Quill decision. So again, it was a wonderful experience that used Supreme Court early in my career. It was great. I was actually going to contrast the difference between Wayfair and another case. I had a case for the U.S. Supreme Court called Hunt Weston. Okay. We went out for all arguments for Hunt Weston a million years ago. And think about Wayfair. You guys remember that we were all out there at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. It was 22 degrees on. We had our business suits on, and we froze our asses off until they opened up the court. I'm allowed to say asses, aren't I? Is that okay? Okay. Even live streaming. Okay. I'll keep it cleaner. So contrast that with lots and lots of people there. Do you remember the companion case? Because generally at the Supreme Court, 2 cases are argued at the same time. It was an estate case out of like Alabama or Arkansas, one of the 8 states. And this guy showed up like at 7:30 in the morning because it was his case. Someone else was arguing. He says, "What are all these people doing here?" I go, "Those estate tax case." He goes, "Well, who cares about this?" I go, "Everybody here is for that case," right? It was amazing. Hunt Weston. We went there. There was like 7 of us that cared about the case. We're all in line waiting to get in. There was a massive crowd there. It was a case out of North Dakota dealing with grandparents' rights, which is a really important case back whenever that was 95, whenever it was. So lots of people from court. This was all about sales tax. Everybody cared about it. And you're absolutely right, Chuck. The Wall Street Journal cared about it. And this is one of those times, I love Diane's thing. We're sales tax nerds. No one wants to talk to us. No one wants to talk tax. For the first time in the history of our careers, people are like, I got to pay tax on stuff I buy on the internet? That's ridiculous. That's outrageous. You got questions like that for the first time ever. First time anybody ever cared about what we did for a living. And that's my impact. And of course, it's been great, disappointing, new challenges. Thought my career was over, wasn't over, got busier, just as you guys have experienced as well.
So it was, I was at the oral arguments. I'm not an attorney. So attorneys all get in. They may not be in the courtroom, but they are in the overflow room. You were in the overflow room. Overflow. So I was just general people. I couldn't sleep the night before. I was scared about going too early because you're hanging out downtown DC. I was awake from like 2 a.m. I didn't leave until 4. I was 8 people too late to get in for the whole thing.
The line started building up at 10:30 the night before.
That's insane.
And so I got in for the first 3 minutes. But then one of the law firms in town had a lunch after, so got to be there for all of that. So if you ever have the opportunity to go to the Supreme Court, although we just heard today that this court turned down the next case that I think a lot of people were thinking, the North Carolina, they turned down Quad. Yes.
The one that rose out of California, the appeal of online merchants guild versus.
Oh, they turned that one down too? Okay.
And that was really a TIA case.
Right, yeah. But if you ever have the chance, or if you're in DC and the court is in session, even if it's not a state tax case, it is a super cool experience. I would highly recommend that you do it. So we are going to talk, when we come back from break. Jamie and Jordan are going to explain all about Nexus, but we have to celebrate this. So go have some cake. I think it's back there. So we will come back for break. Let's take not quite 15 minutes. We'll come back at past. Those of you that were watching us online, thank you for joining us. And any questions, feel free to post them. Did we have comments or anything I need to address, Jen? Nope. Okay. So this will be available on our social channels. So if you want to go and watch it later or show people, feel free to do that. So thanks everybody. And we will come back at 10:30. Okay.